Welcome, Cascaritas with El Tris. We are here with two pretty notable soccer players in USA and the English Premier, and we know them very well in Mexico. Of course, we know them very well in Mexico, right? Roger played against the national team for many years, and we can't say enough about San Zusi. So, thank you guys for joining us. We got a bunch of kids back here that we just finished the camp with Hailstorm, and these guys did awesome. And so, first of all, and we're going to get the elephant out of the room because we got this poster right here. And if anybody knows the story about San Zusi, is that, well, tell us, what is your nickname in Mexico, man?
Oh, man. Well, as the poster says, San Zusi.
San Zusi. And why are you San Zusi? Tell us why you're San Zusi.
Oh, man. Well, so World Cup qualifiers. I guess this was 2013, leading up into 2014 World Cup in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. was playing down in Panama, and simultaneously Mexico was playing in
San Jose.
San Jose.
Yep.
So, in order for Mexico to go to the World Cup, the U.S. had to get a result against Panama, and we were losing 2-1 for a lot of the game, and at the end of the game, there was a ball that got crossed in, and I think maybe my first header in my career goal, I went up and I scored the goal against Panama to send Mexico to the World Cup.
In like the 94th or 95th?
Something. It was very, very late.
It was crazy. I remember watching that game. I was, like Chewy, Eddie, some of our other friends were like, "We're done, man. We're not going." We're all crying, and then all of a sudden, somebody prayed. Somebody said something, and this guy came about. The San Zusi.
No one was praying in Panama, I guess.
Nobody in Panama was praying. Just the Mexicans were, okay? And so, but no, you are. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're a legend in Mexico because of this, and you probably have some of these copies. But even if you don't, I'm gonna give you this one today.
I'll take one.
That way you can remember.
Mine,
yeah, that way you can remember all of us here in Northern Colorado, and just want to thank you for being here in the camp. And so now I'm going to move over to Roger over here, which I didn't know you were local.
I'm a local guy.
I didn't know you were a local guy.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience from being in Denver and being at Regis, and then heading to Ohio State, and then being drafted by Kansas City.
Fun times in Denver. That's all I can think about. Summers here in Colorado and the mountains. Doesn't get better than that. But I grew up playing youth soccer here for Colorado Storm Soccer Club. And from there, I was able to go to a junior college in Arizona, Yavapai College. And I was able to jump into a 4-year school, which was Ohio State. And was there for a little bit. And then I got drafted to the Kansas City Wizards, at the time now Sporting Kansas City. And I guess the rest is history from there. It was a great time, but I could always say that growing up in Denver and all the empowerment from all my coaches and the people and the way the city embraces sports and just life in general in Denver was, I would say, was a great time to grow up here.
Okay. Where were you when San Zusi was conceived? Let's say conceived.
By the time I was already celebrating qualifying to the 2014 World Cup, I was actually just watching on my phone in Jamaica.
Okay.
Listening to Bob Marley and just chilling by the bar of the stadium, just watching everything unfold because they went to a little bit more of an extra time, and Mexico was losing 3-0 in San Jose, Costa Rica, and U.S. was losing 2-1, and our game was over. The Jamaicans were not going to the World Cup at the time, so even if they won, they were not going to go, and we had a big chance of going already. So for us, it was a different type of game. There wasn't much going on, and so I was just watching the game, and San Zusi became San Zusi that day. I don't know what the saying is in Panama, but I would like to see the type of saying, or the other way, what do they call him over there? But yeah, I was hanging out already. I was already just having a drink over there with all full happiness.
Qualified.
Going to the to the World Cup. Yeah,
Nice.
So it was a different stuff for us.
Yeah, that's. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember that time. It was interesting because Mexico had never not gone to a World Cup, right? And for it to be at the hands of the USA, and for Saint Susie to be able to do that, I think that was great. And so, but changing a little bit of gears, what we do a lot at Cascaritas with El Tri is we try to have more of a relaxed atmosphere where we ask you like your favorite things, right? Like your favorite food, your favorite players growing up. I'm gonna make you speak a little Spanish. I'm gonna make you speak. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with Roger, but I'm gonna make
little English for
Graham.
me.
I'm gonna make. I'm gonna have Graham speak a little Spanish, and Roger, maybe you can speak a little German. How about that?
Let's go.
All right, let's go. So, you've been here for a little bit. What has been your favorite Mexican food so far?
Well, I just had the opportunity to try El Diablo tacos.
El Diablo
And
tacos.
Muy bien, let me say.
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Oh, can you say estuvo?
Estuvo.
Muy bien,
Estuvo muy bien.
carnales.
Yeah.
Canales.
So Graham has got it.
My R's will need a little work.
Those are good, man. Well, El Diablo, thank you for providing the food. I know you guys make great food, and I'll probably see you tomorrow. Roger, dude. Other than El Diablo around here, what has stood out in Northern Colorado for you?
Well, other than in honor of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, I can speak a little bit of Portuguese. I can say muito bom, tacos el diablo.
Oh, muchibata con El Diablo.
In Northern Colorado, this is fun times too. I always used to come here and play here in Fort Collins. They used to be Arsenal, or still Arsenal, the club. We used to come here, and then Hailstorm now. It's great to see soccer growing. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a facility like this
great.
anywhere in the world or here in the U.S. So this is great to see. It looks like kids can come here and kick the ball around. And so Fort Collins always had some of the best soccer players, male and females, coming out of Colorado. So it's great to see that this is being put here and for the development of players. So my time has been great here. I was just coming to visit friends at CSU. And so, it's a great place to grow up. So for me, it's like I said, I can only have positive stuff to say about these areas.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Now we're going to move into your favorite player growing up, and you can't say Clint Dempsey because that's mine.
Yeah. Wow, that's surprising. So I was a huge fan of Zinedine Zidane. He
Zidane,
was,
Zizou.
for me, he was like the complete player. And I try to emulate my game off of him as much as possible. He had a little bit of a temper, which I didn't like to see, but sometimes
Cost him a little bit, right?
Maybe a little bit. But other than that, his technique, his vision, his ability to score goals was unbelievable to me.
Yeah, Zidane was always the guy I watched. I grew up watching Hugo Sanchez, obviously at Real Madrid, and I always got to have my Real Madrid everywhere I go. But no, Zizou is a great player. How about in the history of the U.S.? Who was your look up to guy? You can say Clint Dempsey.
Well, yeah, Clint was Clint's a guy who I love because he was a little bit before my time, so I got to look up to him. But then I also got to play with Clint, so that was pretty special for me. And he's a different player than the U.S. has ever had, with his silkiness, his skill, his ability to score goals as much as he did. It's just different than what we ever had. And then a guy like Donovan was just the consummate player for the national team. Even way back when Kobe Jones was a guy I enjoyed watching. Loved getting up and down the right side, speedy guy. DeMarcus Beasley as well. All those guys were guys that I loved watching, and was able to play a little bit with them as well. So that was pretty special for me.
How about you, Roger?
Honduran players. Ooh, there's a couple. Being young, I wanted to be a forward, so I was looking up to the forwards. I think he always want to score the goals. So for me, it was Carlos Pavon. He got to play in Mexico.
Yeah.
And David Suazo, he got to play most of his career in Italy. But just like Zeus, I also got pretty lucky that I also got to play with them in the World Cup in in South Africa. So idol, but at the same time, is once you get to play with them, you have to kind of forget about that, and now you got to worry about how can you contribute to their success. Because just as much as they're very good, they're very demanding players, and you see why they are the legends of your country because of that. Very demanding players, and they teach you a lesson as a player when you get there. That you have to kind of be the same way if you want to get somewhere, and in your soccer career, but also in life, right? And so for me, those guys were definitely like idols. And then outside of Honduras, I would say that first time was a Real Madrid guy, Redondo. Fernando Redondo is his name, but I also I like the style of Barcelona, but I like this player at Real Madrid. So I didn't have a preference on players. I always liked whoever player was doing well. I was always going to admire them. And then obviously Ronaldinho was another player that I thought was just no one in this world could do what he did, and so what has done technically. There's great players out there, but his way of introducing the game, I would say, to a lot of people in the world was just different. Made people fall in love with it. So I would say those guys were, in a way, guys that I look up to when I was young and playing.
Awesome. Well, keeping in that spirit is you guys both played against Mexico, right? Against the national team. Who was the toughest guy that you went up against in Mexico?
Oh, it's a tough question. We were talking about it before this just a little bit, but how good. I'm not looking at his name now.
Play what position?
Barcelona.
Oh, Rafa Marquez.
Rafa Marquez.
Rafa,
Rafa Marquez
center back.
was an unbelievable player. He was
Yeah.
so smart.
I don't think he wants to remember being the
I
top
know.
guy.
Yeah.
Especially as a 6, right? Yeah.
But he was just a incredibly intelligent player, but also extremely skillful. Could play multiple positions, and an obvious leader of that group, and a winner. He won wherever he went, it seems. So he was. I caught the tail end of him, but still, he sticks out in my mind, especially the header he scored in Columbus.
Everyone remembers that one. How about you, Roger?
I mean, Giovanni Dos Santos, I would say, was a tough guy. I think he is one of those players that wasn't doing so great for club, but they're very good for country.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of those players like that. And when he played for the national team, I thought that he transformed into a different player. Also, I'm forgetting the name, but the left back at Atlas. He was at Atlas, and then he went to play in Europe at PSV.
Guardado.
There you go. That's how you say.
Yeah.
I mean, this
He's
guy
very
was
good
unbelievable. He can play midfielder. He can play left back. I think he could have played many other positions, but he didn't have to play in those positions. But
El Principito.
I believe those guys were made the national team go, and it's amazing because to have those players in the area also grows your game too. So there was a question by the younger guys who talked the most crap on the field for the Mexicans. I didn't say there was necessarily guys in the national team levels that talk a lot because you always knew you were always playing with the best players.
Yeah.
And everybody was built on thick skin, and those you don't want to talk crap on anybody because you might inspire them to have an unbelievable
Have
game.
a better game, man.
But there was a way you carry yourself, pretty much. And I always said, players carry themselves, and you kind of just, most of the talking was by just the country's media, but other than that, the players were pretty quiet about it.
That's good insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always love hearing, like the players when you're in the game. Everybody probably thinks that a Chicharito is like talking trash to everybody, or but usually he's just running around. You can't really catch him, but anyways, so the other question that we always ask our guest is your favorite type of music. What are you listening to right now?
Just everything in general, I guess. I'm open. Once you move to Kansas City, you tell like everything. Even country music in Kansas City.
So Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. I'm a Broncos guy, so I don't know if
I was hoping you'd say Taylor Swift, but I know Graham is going to say Taylor Swift.
Not really my cup of tea, to be honest. Great person, but
we like her music. You get in the locker room, especially They play
We have such a wide
All kind of
variety.
music, yeah.
Reggaeton,
rap,
Hispanic
hip hop.
rap, hip hop, everything. So we get a taste of it all.
Nice.
You got a bunch
Nice.
of cultures in the locker room. So,
Whatever mood you're in, that's
Yeah.
how I feel.
yeah.
Awesome.
Even Mexican, some of the Mexican music that wasn't back then now is becoming very popular because
Yeah.
they're mixing a little bit of reggaeton. So
Yeah.
now I was like, oh, I kind of like this, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's liking Peso Pluma right now,
Oh
right?
man, Peso Pluma. Every episode that we have, there's got to be a Peso Pluma. You know, somebody talks
Someone
about Peso
mentions it.
Hey,
Pluma.
it's good, man. It's putting Mexico up there in the map more than it already was with
Yeah.
the tacos, you know?
I think it's a hairdo, man. I think.
Yeah, right?
Look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see them all over.
Like the hairdo is like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
Yeah.
But anyways, I think obviously being on, is it Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Kimmel Live.
think
He's
so,
been a
yeah.
couple times, and so that's why I helped him a lot. But yeah, you know, last but not least, I always ask everybody that comes to our show, what is your message for some of these young kids over here? So, you know, what is it going to take for them to make it to the level that you were? But even if they don't make it to the level that you were, what is your motivational speech to them so that they can transcend into something that is going to be worth it when they become adults?
Sure.
What is your message to them?
You want to go first? Right?
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah, so no, we already had a few talks with them and stuff, you know, and whatever level, there's levels to the game, right? But when you're young, you want to enjoy the game as much as you can. You know, there's some competition, but some healthy competition. Obviously, as a kid, you know, you want to empower the kids and you want to have fun. That's what we're trying to tell them. You know, right now, you're worried about doing the right things, basic stuff. Everything is going to come. Whatever level you're trying to go, high school, or trying to get to the A team, or trying to get to the professional level, college level, it doesn't matter. You still, you know, gotta try to enjoy the game and try to have as much fun as you can. Practice at home, practice here, and slowly you gotta set your little goals to get to that level. But not to worry when you take one step backward or two step backward. That has no problem. You're not gonna have a great game. You're not gonna make a great pass every time, but it's what you do after that. It's what is gonna define you as a player and to build your confidence. So for me, I would say those are the type of things I want to tell kids and trying to always embracing them to do, because you know sometimes it's not about winning. You know, although we all want to win, we all want to do. But there's stuff you got to do before you win. You know, sometimes losing a game is it's not a bad thing. You know, it's going to get you there because you realize what you can do better. When you win games, it's tough to know what can you do better because you won. You know, see, but even in those times, you can always learn, and that's a much more. So. If I had to say something, those are some of the basic things that I would say about the game and stuff.
That's, you know, that resonates with me. One of my best coaches always told me, you don't learn from winning. You mostly learn from losing. And I'm like, it never made sense to me when I was younger. I was like, eventually you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, this is where I went wrong. This is what I got to improve. And so great work, man. Appreciate that. Graham?
Yeah, no, Roger said a lot there, and to piggyback on that, you have to enjoy it for sure. It's first and foremost. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, then what are you doing? But to add on to what Roger was saying about the levels, that there's in every step of my career, from club to high school to college to professional level, there was a learning period for me. So like I got to college and I wasn't a starter right away. My whole first year, it was me just learning the ins and outs of the college game. But through hard work, and I'm a huge believer in hard work paying off. So if you put the work in, if you learn as much as you possibly can from your coaches and also players around you, maybe some of the older guys, you'll start getting your opportunities. And then what are you doing with those opportunities? And then you start seeing some success. And then when I took the jump from college to professional, again, there was probably a year and a half, 2 year period where I was maybe getting some minutes here and there, but I was still adjusting the game, learning. And I did just that. I soaked in as much information as I could. And then when I got like a true opportunity where I was getting some consistent starts, then I was able to have some success. But you're not gonna, just because you want to be a professional soccer player at age 10, just wanting it isn't really enough. You really have to put in all the work and not expect it to come overnight. There's going to be roadblocks, like Raj said. You're going to go through periods where you're having a lot of success, and then periods where you're not having success at all. But it's the mentality you have throughout that to not really get down or frustrated. You can be down, you can be frustrated, but to push through those moments, it does a lot for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
I told you guys I was going to make you speak some Spanish and some German, so here we go. Ready?
Oh,
Ready? All right, you ready for this, Graham? We're going to go.
As ready as I will be.
Soy San Zusi
Soy San Zusi
y nos vemos
y nos vemos
en la próxima.
en la
En la próxima.
próxima.
Hasta luego, carnales.
Hasta luego, carnadas.
Yeah. All right. All right, you for some German, then?
You speak German?
Oh, let's do some German. Ready?
Let's
Ready?
go.
Ich bin Roger
Ich bin Roger
und ich bin
und ich bin
die besten
the besten
Fußballer in der Welt.
Footballer in the belt.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, thank you guys, man.
I don't know why he make me say it. I can say it so well.